We're putting the band back together.
Forget it. No way.
We're on a mission from God.
Welcome to After Dark with Jamie and Clint, a podcast where our hosts examine questions about the Christian faith. Questions that are not easy to ask and even harder to answer. No topic is off limits. Contents of this podcast may cause you to rethink long-held beliefs. Listener discretion is advised. And now, here's Jamie and Clint.
Anyway, we're on quick hits tonight.
Quick hits.
And the last time it really kicked my backside, man.
Quick hits round. Yeah, we got to do round two. Yeah,
Round two.
Yeah, Glass Joe.
Round two.
Quick hits round two. And
Oh, the sponsor.
oh yeah,
Forgot about it.
yeah.
So sorry. We
I
got
do. When I remember his mom. I forgot. I muted. I didn't take Delroy. It's the way you do it. It's hard, dude. I'm just like, you're like, come on, hey. Yeah, he's just in there waving, but and then no one. I was like, well, that's Delroy easy, like steamed up. Let's stay on track or whatever. And no, he's bumped that spot. I'm sorry, I muted you, dude. All right, so you're off mute, so don't cuss me.
Yeah. Don't say anything bad, do y'all? Your mama will get
Do you want some of this, Jamie?
But I ain't in this. That's between y'all, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, anyway. All right. Hey, Delroy. We got a new sponsor.
Yes, we do.
Delroy, do be honest, sir.
Looking to add a little color to your life? Want a one-of-a-kind gift, custom artwork, or something that speaks straight from the soul? Then you need to check out Jay Creates, where creativity meets heart. Whether it's paintings, personalized crafts, or artistic commissions made just for you, Jay is turning imagination into reality. Got a vision? Let's make it real. Email jcreates with a K at yahoo.com or find Jay Creates on Facebook to browse the gallery and send a message today. Jay Creates, made with passion, made for you.
So this week's sponsor is somebody who's a local artist, a young lady named Jaden Kimbrell. Her business is Jay Creates, all custom artwork. And what you guys just saw up there is the portrait that she did for me. I was in this coffee shop, and they had all these crazy retro-looking portraits of like Jimi Hendrix and Prince and you name it, man, and Elvis. And I said, man, that would be so cool. But Rich Mullins, as you know, is one of my favorite Christian artists and songwriters of all time. And I was like, he kind of fit that hippie chic vibe. You know what I mean? Just the way he lived his life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wish I could find something, and I couldn't. So I reached out to Jaden and said, hey, can you do this for me? And she sure did. And man, it was awesome, phenomenal, affordable. So you guys check her out. She can take your thoughts and stuff and your dreams and bring them to life. So there you go. We are professional.
Yes, we are.
I don't know if you know that or not. You may be sitting there wondering, like, how do y'all do it? We don't even know. We don't know. We shock ourselves every week. Right? And look at Delroy. He is so beside himself, like, because he's in amazement right now.
Yeah, is that the look of my mate? Oh, but
He's a better guy that's shopping his resume around. I don't know, man. I don't know.
well, he's like, he keeps me on my brakes. You ain't the one, dude. Not till we do. All right. So anyway, all right. So now let's get on to it. Let's get on to quick hits round two. Now, if you didn't see our first episode of quick hits, we have this beautiful orange pumpkin looking bowl, and in this bowl, as you can see, are folded a piece of paper, and these are questions the listeners had sent to us. And we have no idea what these questions are.
We really don't.
And we just reach in, pull one out, and we take turns being on the hot seat. No preparation whatsoever. This is totally off the top of our heads. And so we wish there. This is, I'll be honest with you. This is like the scariest amusement park ride.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
It freaks you out, but you want to ride it again.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know if you want to ride it again. About peeing my pants the last time because if you think just for a second, Clint's just carrying on with that stuff. Really? Go back and look at the last one. Those looks of shock and nervousness, that was legit.
There was some really hard questions in there.
And we really don't have a clue what's in it.
No,
We don't absolutely don't.
absolutely not.
By the way, you said that about our listeners. We do have a lot of new subscribers
Yes,
and viewers. So if you're out there, you're watching this on whatever platform, man, like, subscribe, share it. Let people know because it's picking up traction, right?
yeah, and leave us drop us a line at adwjc.com. Go to the contact page and drop us a line, or give us a question.
Yeah.
We got to end up with something in the pumpkin bowl, or we'll just talk about it.
Well, yeah. It might be a whole new episode, right? A whole new show. Did I go first last time?
You went first last time.
That means you got to.
You're gonna make me go first.
Absolutely. All's fair, love, and war, and quick hints. All right, so I'm gonna take. That's a long one too.
Oh my, yeah, he's about kidding.
That's a long one. I saw the words, man.
Gee. Okay. We need a timer. We only give ourselves 5 minutes.
I got a timer right here. Let me get this thing set up.
Yeah, we only give ourselves 5 minutes per question, so that way we get.
So we're doing 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I even read this one.
Tell me when you're ready. I'll hit it after you read it, right? Yeah. It's timer. Okay.
All right. So here we go. I have been told, this is a question from a listener. I have been told that the Bible tells us to fear God. Is that true? And if it is, please explain why we should be afraid of God. So that is tough. Ooh, okay. Yes. Man, thank you for not signing it. So, because I would have totally read your name.
Yes, fear God.
Yeah, sure. I've been told that the Bible tells us to fear God. Is this true? And if it is, please explain why we should be afraid of God. Yes, it is true. There's a yes and no to this. Yes and no. Yes, it is true. Scripture tells us, to fear God, and specifically there's I know Del Oil put up if I'm wrong. I don't want to get left to do this, but I think it's in Psalms 111 verse 10 and Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7. Anyway, this says that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God. And so, yes, the scripture does say that we should fear God. However, no, when it comes to being afraid of God, no, because that is not what it means by fear. As we talk about in our episode on translations, and then we talk about King James, that there's the English language is really limited.
Yeah.
The older languages, or as I call them, the language of nuance. Okay, so for example, in Greek, there's multiple words for love. It depends on the type of love, but in English, we only have one word, even it's love. That's it. And how it's applied. I love my dog. I love my daughter. I love my,
Delroy.
Let's don't go too far.
Okay.
Look your way. No, I do. But anyway, it's just different types of love, but it's the same word. Well, this is the problem with this in the scripture that's translated into English. The fear of God, that yes, but just like with love, there's several different words for it. And actually, the word, oh man, now it's been a minute since I've been in seminary.
Half a century. I lived not that long. Well, maybe a quarter of a century. We get old.
Man, I think the word, the Hebrew word is yari. Yari. I'm thinking yari, something like that. It's pretty close to that.
What's it mean?
It means respect.
I was wondering if that was,
Yeah.
because I've always thought that in respect, fear.
Yes. It's so when it says, when it says to fear God, it's something like a healthy respect. For those of you who don't know, I used to raise cattle. I used to raise steer, and I've handed the business off now to my youngest daughter and her husband. They do it now, and but at this time, I was still doing it, and we had one small yearling, was in the part of a field. It's kind of up in the air, and in that part of the field, there's no trees or anything. It's just, and it come up the storm, and I mean, it was rain buckets, and like you'd expect Noah's boat to come by.
Noah's boat. Yeah.
But we got to find, that wasn't actually the boat that he was in. Yeah, up to Noah. Sorry. Jeez,
He's excited.
Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, so anyway, it was coming away buckets.
Yeah.
And I'm laying in bed. It's probably 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I don't think about it. Now I didn't really care. It didn't bother me that this yearling was by itself, and in the open field, as far as the rain goes, because he's wearing a leather jacket.
Yeah.
But it was lightning and thundering, and I mean bad.
Right.
Well, that never bothered me. Just never bothered me. I don't care. I enjoy it. I used to sit on the porch.
Oh yeah, I love it, man. Nothing like a storm.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I got thinking and it being out in the open field and there's nothing around at all, it could get hit and killed by lightning. Yeah. So I don't really, so I'm gonna put it up in the one of the corrals here.
Right.
And so I put my slicker on, put my boots on it, and I go out the back door, and into the pasture. Well, as I was coming out the back door, lightning hit. It was in that gully right over there.
Oh yeah.
Where beyond my hat. You're gonna love this. And it was about, I don't know, 200 yards or so away, and hit a tree, and I mean, just boom, and everything going up, and it got really bright. It was cool. Look, yeah, it was real. But anyway, I do one of these. All right, I looked up and I go, "You missed me." All right, yeah, I did that.
Did you do that?
I did.
I didn't know that part of the story.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I went, "You missed me," and haven't chuckled about it, and I'm cavalier about life. Well, anyway, so I go out and get the steer, and I wrestle it up, and rope it down and get it into the stall. And then I took the rope off its head, and so I'm closing this stall, and there's two stalls on the edge of a hay barn built out. And, it's one metal gate that swings closed in, for both stalls. It's one gate for both stalls, and it's just big metal gate. And, so, I'm closing the gate. I got the steer, and that steer fine. It's a little yearling. And I'm closing the gate. And as I'm closing the gate, I notice on my arm, all the hair now, all this happened in a fraction of a second, but my memory, like, it took minutes. So, was I can remember and thinking different things.
Yeah.
So this happened in a fraction of a second, but anyways, I was closing the gate, like all the hair on my arm just went doom like that, and I remember thinking that's odd, and then I started hearing crackling,
Yeah.
and
Raggling like bacon.
so it's like there you go. So, but it got really, really bright. I mean, bright, and then I felt this shearing pain in my shoulder, right there. It's still tender there all these years. But I felt a sharp pain. I mean, it was so painful.
Wow.
And I remember screaming in agony over this. And the next thing I remember, I'm about 30 yards away from where I was standing. I'm flat on my back, and standing over me is my wife in her nightgown, and it's still, it's trickled down for her. It's still going on. And I'm not realizing where I am or what had happened. All I know is my wife's standing out on, in the middle of this storm.
What happened?
With her nightgown. No. I look up there and go, why are you outside in your nightgown? Like, what are you doing out here? It didn't dawn. I'm laying on the ground looking up at her.
Yeah.
And she's like, you just got hit by lightning.
You didn't even know it, right? You didn't even realize it.
No, and
wow.
The first thing is I'm like, she had to have me, my daughter's coming out, and they're all helping me back into the house. I'm wobbly, and all this other stuff, and I'm like, check my boots, because I figured there'd be a hole in my boots, but long story, what saved me was number one is a miracle.
Yeah.
But it hit me in the shoulder here and went through my arm and into the gate. Now I got to the ground, and how I didn't burn my hand, I don't know. I really don't. It's just and
it's like God's just saying, missed you.
Well, that's exactly it.
Here's a taste.
That's exactly it. I did not fear. No, what I disrespected him. Yeah, I didn't have a healthy respect for God, the Father, and I was very disrespectful, and I could, get this.
Well, and you could take that. You could preach on that, man. You could take that a little bit, because it could be God saying, "Look, it misses you because I don't want it to hit you."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like this is happening not by chance or accident, because I'm allowing you to be safe. I'm protecting you. Yeah, right. And but at any point in time, this is what happens when I don't.
I really think it was the finger of God going, I missed you, huh? And just a little finger, just a little cap on her. And Paul's thorn in flesh is in mine, I think, because
a reminder.
It's that reminder. And I actually lose control of my hand, my arm, ever so often. I mean, like literally just goes numb, and I got no movement at all.
I worked in a prison for a few years, and we had a guy, older dude, who was a guard like that, and he was shell shocked or something, big dude, and he had an uncontrollable hand. Like he would sit and talk to it at night.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and inmates were scared because he would be like, "We must protect these people. Don't hurt them." And it was like, I ain't making this up. And it was like, yeah, so just like you, uncontrollable hand. Maybe you got hit by lightning.
I don't talk to the hand, but I mean,
maybe you should see what's going on in there.
But it's like, it doesn't have to head arm. It doesn't do anything.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, I mean, it's
I picture Clint getting a drink like,
it's just great. It goes out, and it's just like a dead limb, and then there's no feeling or anything, and then it starts tingling after a while, and then I can start to move, and it goes away. But
constant reminder.
Yeah. So anyway, that is what we mean, and that's what the scripture is talking about. The fear of God, and the fear of God being the beginning of wisdom, because I was not wise. I disrespect him. So fear of God is a healthy respect of God. Because as Jesus said, don't be afraid of those that can destroy the body. Be afraid of the one that can destroy the body and the soul. And anyway, fear God is having a healthy respect. Just like with electricity, being an electrician and went, oh yeah, that circuit's that breaker's grown, and
I'll say amen to that one.
yeah, and poppy or yeah. So yeah, don't disrespect God. Okay.
My go.
Sorry it took so long.
Yeah, we're going to set a new timer for 15 minutes.
I gotta get your time back. My hook is a big.
I'm saying it now. I don't like being on the hot seat. You know what I'm saying? It gets crazy. Okay, are we alone in the universe? Does heavens in Genesis 1:1 mean there are other planets like Earth and go? Okay, this is going to be weird and creepy, I think, for some people. Okay, I would love to actually do a whole show on this one time. I think we kind of talked about this in the past, maybe when we first started. Are we alone in the universe? Aliens, ETs, right? Extraterrestrials. I don't think we are. Now, I'm a weird dude. You know that. I get in all kind of weird stuff. Exactly. And theories. I mean, look at the guy's shirt. It's not a cop. I'm not a cop. No. So I do believe that there are, let me say, I believe there's possibility of other life forms out there. I think it would be almost arrogant for us to think we're the only ones God made because he is so all-powerful and knowing. What is the universe thing, solar system, Milky Way we have, and then recently they figured out there's ones or more galaxies beyond ours. Stuff like that, It's like, dude, we're like this big in the greater scheme of the entire universe. So there's a possibility when it says this heavens in Genesis 1:1, and what's that one? He made the heavens and the earth. I mean, the heavens. I do know that Paul talked about there being levels in heaven. So maybe he's talking about that, like, the first heaven, second heaven, this kind of thing, levels there. Maybe he's talking about the galaxies and sky or other galaxies. I believe that's what he's talking about too, right? When he made everything, he didn't just make ours in the galaxy, he made the others as well. Maybe he made them before. I don't know. But there's this verse in Job, the sons of God presented themselves in the court of God. Do you remember that? And Satan was among them. Satan was among them. Yep. And he says, and where have you been, or where have you come from? So now picture all these angels, I would say maybe archangels, powerful angels, wherever they were. Apparently they were big time dudes, right? And they show up in the court of God, referred to as the sons of God. And he says, where have you been? And Satan replies, really interesting. He said, I have been on the earth, roaming to and fro, whatever he said. Where were the other guys at? Other planets? Other galaxies? Why did he name the earth, not a part of the earth, right? Well, I've been down in the Garden of Eden. Well, we're past that time, but I've been over here in this country, or been in this land, or what? Why was he? What a generic blanket statement. So I believe when he says the heavens, I won't say for sure because I've never seen an alien, but I believe there's a possibility that there very well could be life out there. And I definitely know that the heavens doesn't just mean our heaven. I think it's a broad statement for a lot of different things, not just the eternal heaven that we're going to spend eternity in with God, his kingdom, but also the galaxies beyond ours, stuff that we yet to discover, probably won't be discovered in our lifetime. I don't know if that answers the question, but are there planets like Earth? That's the other part. Julia, again, my youngest, they're all into the cutting edge now of science, right? And they're trying to put a colony on Mars. Yeah. Did you know that? Like, this Mars has an atmosphere and a whatever, everything's very similar to the Earth. Now, I don't know how that's going to play out, but again, to think we're the only one, I don't know. I think there's a great possibility there could be more other planets like ours. Now, what do you think?
Let me ask it this way.
Okay.
In Genesis 1:1, you read it, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Why is earth singular, but then the first other point was that there?
I believe because he was just referring specifically to the earth. He's talking about everything he's going to do on the earth, and he created life on the earth. This is the account of what he did for this place.
So why would he reference heavens if it's talking about other places?
Because there's definitely galaxies beyond ours.
What do they have to do with life on Earth?
I don't know.
I'm just,
I'm just saying.
I'm not, I'm
Now, here's the thing I'll say, though. I say he does stuff like that. But here's what I'll say.
I was just asking questions.
But it's a good question. But here's what I'll say. I think he said heavens to let us know there's life beyond this place, or there's more beyond this place. There's something bigger than just you. Okay. The earth, I don't know. Could there be? Could there not be? I think it could go either way. But I'm saying this much. I wouldn't read that verse or any other verses and discount the possibility. How about that?
I will say this.
Okay.
If there is life
Mm-hmm.
on other planets, they're subject to the same God I am.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's my answer.
There's the timer.
All right.
Well, and I'll say this to you, too. If we kept going with that conversation, you'd make me sound like a Mormon. You know? And if you don't know, we'll do that one in the way. I mean, other sheep notice that. But, hey, we need to do something on outer space stuff, man, because that's a biggie.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, there's stuff out there.
we can put it over to the side there, or this one, put it over to the side.
I think it's interesting.
Y'all didn't hear what he said to my ear. He said, "I'm not your secretary. I want to race." Yeah, he's always bringing it up. Yeah. All right. Oh, who used to do that? And goes,
Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson. Thank you.
Yeah.
Guys, you were showing me. I heard.
I don't know, man. I still watch him on YouTube. His old clips and stuff. He was hilarious. Ed McMahon. $10 million. Never got it. Never won it.
No. That's this. Why don't I get on the freaking novels?
I'm glad I got the fun one this time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You ready for the timer?
Yep.
What? Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
What is the best way to witness to people? By witness, I mean to tell people about Jesus. Okay. So, Christians have their own language,
Christianese.
Yeah, Christianese, we fellowship, what is it? What does that mean? That means you hang out.
Yeah.
We play Uno. And we witness, which means, we tell, witnessing is you telling people about Jesus. So anyway, what's the best way to witness people? This, I don't think, or first of all, let me say, I don't think there's a wrong way. Any way we do it, I think is, as clumsy as it may seem to you or whatever, God could turn that into something incredible. So, there's no wrong way. The best way, I will say this, for me, it was never about what somebody said. Don't tell me about Jesus. Show me. Don't tell me what Jesus will do in my life. Show me what he's done in yours. And I don't mean that on Sunday morning. I mean that on Saturday night.
Whoa.
I mean, what did you do Saturday night? And what you did on Saturday night, could you have done on Sunday morning?
Wow, that's good.
So how do you wait? The way you live your lives.
Yeah.
That's the best way. And I told this story before, and I'll tell it again. There was a guy that his next door neighbor. He was wanting to invite his next door neighbor. He knows he wasn't Christian. He wants, also inviting over, just to hang out, and let him see Christ with skin alive. But a really good friend of mine, who's a pastor of church in Kannapolis, Scott Wheeler, love your brother. He has his one of his favorite sayings is be Jesus with skin on, or be God like that on. But anyway, so he wanted to go over and invite his neighbor, he's going to have to pick out whatever. And so he went to the house and he grabbed a couple of beers, and he walked next door, because guy was outside doing some project, whatever, and he went next door and having been hanging out with him, and the guy was like, and said, I thought you were a Christian. He was like, well, I am. And he's like, you drunk, Bill? And he's like, I gotta know more about this. This is, that. And and I'm not advocating, that everybody drink beer. But what I'm saying though is, he was authentic. He didn't pretend. He had beer in his refrigerator, but he didn't go over, with, two cans of Coke,
Right.
and pretend, whatever. He was authentic. And, I think that the more authentic we are, because we're messed up people. We all are messed up, and the more authentic you are with someone, that's when they really see.
Yep.
Because, if you're fake, then your God must be fake, and so he wasn't. He was authentic, and that's the point I want to make. Don't get hung up on whether he took beer or whatever. But he's just being him, and he whatever, and the guy accepted Christ. Wow, it took like 2 years. I mean, it's not like he went next Sunday and did his life later, but it started with him drilling over there. And him being authentic,
And just building that level of trust when that guy had spiritual questions, that's the guy he would go to.
because he knows he wasn't lying.
Yeah. He knows he's like, hey, this dude's being real. Being real. St. Francis of Assisi. This quote is attributed to him. One of my favorites. I've heard a lot of people say recently that people always, oh, well, I don't think he really said it. I don't know if he did or not, but I'm going to say he did. Okay. I'm going to say he did. And
You know that story.
I think you told me, but it still makes me chuckle. Let me get back to it. St. Francis supposedly said, preach the gospel always without ceasing, and when absolutely necessary, use words. Goes right in line with what you said. Just be yourself, be authentic. I mean, what more can you ask? That's the best way to let people see a transparent life. There's the timer. You kept that thing in. There was everybody, yeah. But hey, I will add a little bit to it. I'm going to have to go over. I want to add something to it. So, going in line with that, I've said this in the last couple of years because I've seen it. I've seen this bear just a lot of fruit in my life, okay? Mm-hmm. And this is why I'm going to raise this up. I feel like I'm pumping over. Is that better?
I feel like I'm eating the mic on.
Yeah, there we go. It's better.
Like it's little.
Because it got my neck up. As Christians, man, like you said, we mess up. We might get mad and say some foul language in the workplace or at school, lose our temper, get caught up in gossip. We make mistakes. We sin. I always say mistakes. We sin, right? I think what preaches really loud to people is not when we're perfect, because you said it a minute ago, it's fake. Mm. Like you're telling me you never get mad, you never cuss, you never have a bad day, you never this, that, deal. No, I do those things. But when people see it, but then they see us, right, come back and say, hey, you know what? That wasn't right. Mm. I follow Jesus, man, and I want you to forgive me, or whatever. I think that speaks volumes to people. What? Why wouldn't you care? Because, man, I serve something greater than myself. Someone greater. So I think what you said, authentic, man, being real. Yeah, that's what people.
I represent somebody.
Yeah,
I just wants to be real. And as far as being perfect,
we can't all be like Gilroy.
Yeah,
we're on you today, man. We got you today.
I had a professor. He would say all the time, he would say, "Look, I'm not perfect, and neither are you. There was only one perfect person, and look what they did to him."
Whoa!
Heck, I don't want to be perfect.
Yeah. Oh, how many more we're gonna do?
I don't know. Let's see. We've done what? 3?
Three. We had on time. Okay. Well, how about one more?
Okay, let's do one more.
One more. Whoa. No. Shake it up. Whoa. Let's get a good one this time. Mix it up, baby.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Mix it up.
All right.
I wish I had the hat that the Carson wore. The big wizard hat.
Yeah, what was this, Swami or
something Swami? Yeah, Are you ready? All right, here we go. I'm going in. It's like I'm I swear, OBGYN.
I wouldn't even laugh if it's the same one.
Did you see it already?
No.
Okay.
I did. So I was like,
I didn't look at it.
Why'd you throw it back?
Because I wanted to, mix it up.
It could have been a good one.
Let's see if it's worked out now.
Okay.
How can Yeah, crap. I guess I screwed the pooch on that one. How can the Bible, written thousands of years ago, be... Let's hold on a minute. Let's let Clint get over his conniption. Sorry. All right, go ahead. Okay. How can the Bible, written thousands of years ago, be relevant in the modern world? I will not do that again. So, how can the Bible, written thousands of years ago, be relevant in the modern world? Well, I think we actually talked about this not long ago. Maybe in the last one. A little bit anyway, because here's the deal. The same problems that people had 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, we still have now. Right? If you read the Bible, and I mean really read it for the historical purpose of it, take the theology out of it for a second and just read it as a book, right? You're going to see people that cheated on spouses, people that were envious, people that were jealous, people that cheated people, stole, robbed, killed. You see it all. So it's the same problems, the same human condition, which is sin, that we've always had, and we still have it today. It's basically, we talked about this earlier on the porch about a different situation, but it's the same problems wrapped in a different package, a different time period, but it's the same stuff. That's why it talks about his word being, it's without error. It's perfect. It's complete. And I don't think it's just complete because of the prophecies and all that. I think it's a complete book on how to live, if nothing else. There's a lot of atheists that have said, man, I don't believe in God at all. But the Bible is an incredibly awesome book of how to live your life, even today. Take the 10 Commandments, for instance. Look at our laws. They're the 10 Commandments, in a way, right? It's the major ones. Don't steal, don't kill, that kind of stuff. So I think, how can it be written 1,000 years ago, be relevant in the world today? Because people are the same. People are the same. We are sinful, jealous, prideful, arrogant. We're all those things, and we need Scripture to teach us, just like it did a couple thousand years ago, to teach us today how to deal with those situations, our human condition. Did I answer that pretty good?
You know what? If I had gotten that question, that would have been my response.
Cool. I think because I've heard you say it before, so I ripped it off. But really, that is kind of piggybacking off of what we said before, about the translation part. That is the cool thing about Scripture, man, is we've said it before. I love because I can read the Bible, a part of it today, as a scripture passage or whatever, a chapter, right? A book. And I read it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it applied to my life then, and then read it now. And it's like, oh, I never even saw that before.
Yeah.
It's living, it's breathing. It really, really is something different. It's the heart of God.
Yeah.
So it will always be relevant. Even 500 years from now, when our great whatever grandkids are riding around in the Jetson cars, in the air and stuff, I believe that's coming, right? It'll be relevant.
So well,
Still around, and people will be the same. Unless people overcome their human nature and stop being arrogant, prideful, lying, killing, and gossiping. If we can stop doing that, yeah.
So hold your breath.
Yeah, exactly. So, wow, I kept that one simple.
Oh yeah, you went undertone too.
I thought that was going to be bad. I didn't read the last part of the question.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to go into some crazy stuff. And it's like, oh man,
the look on your face. That's what cracked me up. It wasn't the question. The look on your face when you pulled that thing, I just died. It just...
Because all I was thinking was, I bet the one I put back said, do you believe in the Trinity? That was it.
Yeah.
It's probably something so easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, what is Genesis 1:1 say? Yeah.
Well, look, I got to say this, man, we don't have a lot left. So, guys, if you're out there, we need some questions, man.
Yeah, bring along.
And even if it's something, similar to what we covered, people could still reword it. You might have a little different take on it. Maybe we didn't answer it completely or as good. Throw it out there, man. Let's pick one more, and let's do it together. We'll even do a timer on this one.
Okay. We're going to... I tell you what. Watch this.
He's cooking egg. Would you work at Waffle House?
Right. Oh, well, I'm trying to just throw one out.
Well. Eeny, meeny. All right. How's that then? You ready?
Yeah.
Do it together. Oh, boy. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just be quiet? You know, look at Delroy. He's over there like hanging his thigh like a noose.
Okay, this will probably make up for all the other nonsense you waded through to get to this one. Okay. You want to read?
Holy crap. I'm glad I don't have a timer on this one. All right. I'll tell you what, I'll read the first part, you read the second.
Okay.
We'll do them one at a time because it's technically two. So y'all do that sometimes. You just slip in 2 for 1. You're just sneaky rats. Should Christians be involved in politics? You read it. Well, didn't I? You know, I mean,
it's a hard question. So, I mean, being involved in politics, does that mean,
well, I'm assuming running for office.
Well, voting,
I mean, I don't know.
And I know what they mean. They're talking about in social media, right?
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Being involved in politics. Right?
Well, okay. Let me say this. Should Christians be involved in politics? If you want to approach it from the social media standpoint.
I really think, I'll be honest, I really think that's what they were asking about.
This is going to be unpopular. I'm going to say no to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. Mm-hmm. Yes, if you want to exercise your free speech and stuff like that, and you have to help me with this, okay? But if you want to exercise your free speech, sure, you have the right to do that. But then I would say no if it becomes a point of divisiveness, of division, right? Mm-hmm. Because even Jesus said, give the Caesar what is Caesar's, God what is God's.
I would say, and here's the thing. Everything that Jesus did and everything he said was very purposeful. Yeah, I swear English is my first language. It's not. He's Polish. I'm Polish. It's German, actually. Actually, I'm German. But everything is done with a purpose. Yeah. And everything that he says, there's a meaning, there's a weight behind it. So listen to. I'm gonna repeat what James said, and listen to what I say. Guy had come to Jesus, should we pay our tithes? Yeah, or taxes. Yeah, I'm sorry. Should we pay our taxes, or should we give to the church? And I think that the dilemma that person was having was, well, if I pay my taxes, I don't have 10% to give to the church. If I paid the 10% to the church, I don't have enough for my taxes. Yeah, was kind of I said, you're going to be involved in politics in some way.
You can't avoid it, in other words.
Yeah, you can't avoid it. And so, but I think when it comes to politics and social media, I think I think they flip it.
Yeah, I think so.
And so it's, well, I'm not going to support this person because that they cheated on their wife, and even now they're married to their mistress, and it's just not a godly thing to do, and blah 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 blah. And I think and what that does is that and that's an oversimplification, but it drives a divide between two people, because you got somebody else that says that they really like that candidate.
Yeah.
And they're Christian too, and they like that candidate. Yeah. And so they see it as an attack, and so then they come back at you, and
well, and now as you're saying that, my mind is tripping on it because of just like, I can't pinpoint one situation, but I've seen so many, and you have too. Lots of them during election time. All right. And it drives a wedge between people who are friends or people who are even relatives. I've seen that. And it's because you take a stance for this person who's not going to know you in Walmart, by the way. They're not going to let you cut in line. They got no clue you exist. And we'll take a stand for them. I'm like you can't avoid it. You have your political leanings and whatever, and that's fine. But especially right-wing conservatives will say stuff like, get off, or they'll say stuff like, you're not a believer, obviously, if you vote this way. Right. And then the other side of the aisle will say, well, if you vote this way, then you're automatically against me.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just so many things where it's like us against them kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And that's not how Jesus meant for it to be. Hey, you render unto Caesar what's his and you give to God what's God's.
Yeah.
But just something interesting about that a guy pointed out a while back when going through some of the stuff that Jesus did. And he was talking about it. And he said, think about this for a second. This was Caesar in the ancient world.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Caesar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you know who Caesar is.
Mm-hmm.
He is the ruler. And Jesus says, anybody know who that is?
Mm-hmm.
Does he look familiar to anybody? And that's Caesar. In a way, it's almost like Jesus was being a little bit condescending and saying, who's that guy?
Yeah. Who's that guy on that coin?
Because later he says, my kingdom is not of this world, and my kingdom is forever,
Right.
And so I think, yes, we can't escape politics. At the same time, don't lose sight of who you serve, who your king really is.
Mm-hmm.
The president, I respected. We were both in the military.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who we were in the military serving under, the commander-in-chief, that's our commander-in-chief.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You ain't got to like him, kind of like the fear thing, but you will respect him.
Right.
Okay.
Respect the office.
You respect the office.
And I think it comes to, being in the military, it's, the insignia, colonel or commander in the Navy, comes by, you salute. Well, you're not saluting the person, you're saluting the rank.
Exactly.
And so the same thing with the president, when President Clinton was in office when I served, and, liking or not, he was the president, he was the commander in chief, and giving coffee.
Absolutely. And when it comes down to that part over here, but never allow anything to divide us as believers in Christ. Yeah. That's the key. If it's going to divide me, I'll keep my opinion and my Facebook post to myself. Yeah. Last thing on that one, I had a kid. I'll go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead. I'll finish it.
No, I was just going to say I had this kid in kids' church. I've shared this with you before. You guys are like this. And we'd always do prayer requests. Now, he was about to age out. You remember this one?
Yeah.
He was about to age out and go into youth. So he was a pretty sharp kid. I won't go into much more detail on that. But really sharp kid. Loved the kid. But every week he would pray for President Biden to get saved.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just go through. Finally, one week I said, how do you know he's not saved? Are you the Holy Spirit? Do you know his heart? Well, obviously he's not, because Democrat and all that. And I was like, but that's not you understand, being an American Republican is not a prerequisite for salvation. So it's a funny little point, and I was not saying he is. I'm saying I don't know. So we shouldn't make those types of assumptions and then bring them in, to the church. When Jesus or Paul, I think, said, pray for your leaders, right? Mm-hmm. He's talking about Nero at the time, who was burning Christians. Yeah, I mean, he's using this as torches, light his garden, stuff like that. And he said, hey, that guy, you pray for him. Mm-hmm. So if we can pray for him, we can pray for whoever is the president.
A really good friend of mine said, so goes the leader, so goes the country. Well, and so if you're wanting the president to fail because you didn't vote for him, he fails, the country fails, and the economy fails, your job fails. That's all thing. But I will say, we got the other
second part, but save the best for last on this one. That's a good idea.
Tie the bow up on the first one here. Yeah, you can't avoid politics. But I do. I have friends on both sides of the aisle. I will say this about my political. I'm not a member of either of the two major parties. I'll leave it. I'll leave it at that. And say,
he's a member of the Alien Party.
Yeah, I'm the member of the Aliens.
Voter rights on Mars.
Aliens. Well, come on, that was.
Oh, you.
God, man. And even Devil didn't even get that one. Yeah. First of all, as far as separation of church and state, that is nowhere in any official papers. That is not in the Federalist Papers. And if you don't know what the Federalist Papers are, you really should, right? But it's not in the Federalist Papers. It's not in the Constitution. It's not in the Bill of Rights. It's not in the Declaration of Independence. And where is separation of church and state found was in a letter from one of our founding fathers. If you want to know who he, don't ask AI. Do it. I don't know why I said that.
I don't even know what you're talking about right now. Like, what? It's like he wants to say it, but he won't.
Yeah.
Delroy.
Yeah, I put Delroy.
That way you didn't say it, but
Yes, but anyway, he had wrote a letter, and he was corresponding back and forth, and he had mentioned in one line of one letter. Now there was like a dozen letters that went back and forth. It's like a conversation they were having on instead of a phone. It's letters because it's 1700s. So he was like a dozen letters that goes back and forth. One line on one page, he mentioned the separation of church and state. Now, these were Baptists. All right. He wasn't. These letters wasn't talking about Baptists, but I'm just going to frame out how nutty some of the Christians were in the 1700s. The Baptists of the 1700s,
the Anabaptist, right?
No, it was
sure.
Yeah,
that was early. It was primitive Baptist, Anabaptist.
No, this was like Elijah Craig's.
Oh, okay.
His group, Elijah Craig, Puritans. Not Puritans, but they were Baptists, and just straight up.
I'm throw us a ball.
You know who Elijah Craig?
No, I remember that name.
And the father of bourbon. He was a Baptist preacher. Anyway,
you ever watch Drunk History? Yeah, this dude. I love it.
Like that. So you couldn't lean down on somebody else.
I didn't see that coming. And I don't think that's a healthy solution to a problem.
No, that's nutty. But, and so,
especially back then, hygiene was awful. Think about that. The odors, man. Chicks not shaking their legs and piss. I am so sorry. But wow. That is, oh my God. Oh my God. That's where my mind went. If that's not where your mind went, maybe I got a problem. My nutty Baptist.
I was driving it right back to the letter.
You pictured it too.
It was there. You pictured it. Oh man, hairy armpits. You could have done without that one. But he got. But anyway, those nutty people. That was what the conversation was about. It was like, what do we need to do? What the government need to step in and stump these nuts from doing stupid stuff like this? And that's when he replied back, and then he put in there. There's a separation between there's a separation between church and state. And what he was saying is the state doesn't need to get involved in the church.
Leave them alone.
Leave them.
Yeah.
But people know more about Christianity as far as they know what we're against. Sadly, very few people know what we're for.
Yeah.
And that's on us.
Bro, you drove that one home. Hey, well, let me add to it real quick and finish it up if you don't mind, because when you said that about election time, red and blue and all that, I mean, it's like sometimes there's been people that I'm like, I'm not even sure if they're a believer or not. But man, I know what your political stance is. Ooh. And what you just said is we shouldn't be known for that stuff. And I think that's the point here, separation of church and state. It can go a little bit deeper than that, as I have my political agenda, side leanings, whatever, but it does not usurp or go ahead of or above my relationship with Jesus. I want to be known for a Christ follower before anything else, right? And that's just the biggest problem I see with it. Is it just overshadows everything, right?
Yeah, and I'll go back to again. Shame on us as Christians that people know what we're against, not what we're for, but what we're on for. And as far as politics goes, shame on us for making politics personal, because if I'm gonna look at like I said, I'm not red or blue, but if I'm gonna look at politics and put it into a frame, and how for me how silly it is to take it personally, like you said, they don't know who you are anyway. But let's take politics and we'll substitute it with music.
Oh, man.
And let's say, you like country music and a big country music fan, and I don't like country music. I'll be honest with you. I grew up with it, with this. I grew up with Southern gospel music. My mother sang Southern gospel and had an incredible voice. And I'm not saying it because she's my mom. She had a incredible voice. But she always sang Southern gospel. I hate Southern gospel music.
Man. That's why I like it.
I hate it. But as much as I hate Southern gospel music, let's say you loved it. Am I going to end our 20 plus whatever years friendship just because you like music that I don't like? How is that any different than you like Trump and I hate Trump? And because you like him, we no longer can be friends.
What happened to you, right?
That's what happened. Yeah, it was, we did.
And when you put it like that, it's silly. Well, I think we've done a really good job, man, on quick hits, and really on this last one, oh wow, this got nuts. Yeah. But I got to ask one question, really important question. If Clint is not red and Clint is not blue, does that make you plaid?
It's the purple.
Oh yeah, my bad. I fell that part.
Wait a minute. What makes purple? Yeah, red, blue, pink, purple. Yeah.
No, you're not either or. You're in the middle, so you're plaid.
Plaid.
Magnified plaid. It makes me
But mixed red.
That's not what
I mixed red and blue.
we've been here too long. All right.
Roy G. Bill. It's the greatest thing.
Roy G.
Yeah, do you know that?
No, I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, really? Oh, man. If y'all don't know what that was, put that pic, right? ROYGBIV. Roy G. Bill. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet.
Oh, I thought it was a radio personality. I was going to go Google the guy, Roy G. Biv.
And if you take his initials, RGB, that's the three primary colors, red, green, blue. Such a nerd. Now look, you take red and yellow. What red and yellow make? Orange. That's the OROY.
Not anymore because they outlawed the red dye. Yeah. No more orange, baby.
And you want green, right? How you get green? Well, green is yellow and blue.
In blue, yeah.
So whatever other than the primary colors, the whatever is in between the two primary colors, that's how you make that color.
And if you put them all together, you get plaid.
No, if you put them all
I don't know.
I can't remember now. If you put them all together, is it black or is it white?
He's going to be Googling this.
I got to Google that stuff now anyway. But one way is an absence of color and the other is all the colors. I don't know which way it is. But look.
You have watched the latest episode, round 2 of Quick Hits.
Round 2 of Quick Hits. Now, you got anything else?
Man, I am good. I think this is a good one. Ooh, the end got sketchy, but it's good. I'm good.
It's good. All right. And please don't, now, all you new listeners, thank you.
You guys rock, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah, we really, we don't do this for money or fame or anything. We do this because we just want to make the world a better place. We want to make, we just want to make our Father happy.
Right. And let Jesus know.
Yeah, there you go. So join us next week or next episode, and very special episode.
Yep.
That's all we're gonna do. That's all we're gonna tease. It's a really good. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Please check it out. So for After Dark, I'm Clint. He's Jamie.
Still Jamie.
We'll see you next time. Until then, tell your mama I said hey.
listening to After Dark with Jamie and Clint. Visit our website at www.adwjc.com. This is Delroy. Until next time, thanks for listening.